As mentioned at the end of the last video, if you've done this proportion method, dimensional analysis, you feel pretty comfortable with this method of unit converting, try a few of these, skip to the end of the video, and check your answers. I have no problem with that. Again, these study guides are just for practice. I'm not going to collect it or grade it. If you have not done dimensional analysis and you've not done this proportional method of unit converting, then you might want to walk through a few of these in more detail. Number 4, for example, is a conversion between kilometer or kilometer and miles. I'll always give you a list of conversion factors. Now here you might want to look at the one that's earlier in the study guide, and you'll notice that there is no conversion listed to get you straight from kilometer to miles. So I might have to string a couple proportions together. The only one that has miles is feet to miles. So if I work backwards, I can go feet to miles. I could go yards to feet. Ooh, I could go meters to yards. Now you have a few options. Usually I start these dimensional analysis problems with whatever I'm given. 65.5 kilometers. And then it's just in my brain that I want to set up a conversion. I want to cancel the unit that I'm starting with. In this case, I want to get it to meters, because then I see that I can go meters to yards, yards to feet, feet to miles. And I'm just looking at this list of dimensional analysis conversion factors, just the one that's listed earlier in the study guide. Now, way earlier in the study guide, we did mention that you can do metric conversions with this proportion method. Kilometer means 1,000 meters. So I could just add that in. 1,000 meters is equivalent to 1 kilometer. And then bingo, my units would cancel. Or you could just flip the decimal. I always remember the order of my metric prefixes. Kilo, hecto, deca. Then comes the base. Deci, centi, milli. So I'm at kilo. I want to go to meter. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to move the decimal spot 3 places to the right, which is really the same thing as multiplying by 1,000. So you could skip that proportion and just start with, 65,500 meters if you wanted to. But somehow I need to get this into meters, because that's the only way I can get from metric to English. I guess there's like centimeters in there too, but let's use this meter to yards. Let's cancel meters and put it in yards. 1.09 yards for every 1 meter. And again, the unit that I want to cancel always goes on the bottom. I do not want my final answer in meters, so you go on the bottom. I want it in yards. Yards goes on the top. And again, notice that I always put my unit in first. Then I put in the numerical value. Okay. Yards. Let's go yards to feet. Cancel yards. Put her in feet. I put my unit in first. I want feet on the top. I want to cancel yards on the bottom. 1 yard. 3 feet. And I don't know, I get like obsessed with like physically crossing off my units. As I go and I know that units cancel, I just get some rush from like canceling them off. So if I were to plug all this in my calculator right now, I would have feet. But I want miles. So we're going one more. I want to cancel feet. I want it in miles. And it tells me 1 mile is 5,000 280 feet. Cancel feet, cancel feet. The only unit that I have not crossed off is the one that I want, miles. When I plug this in my calculator, I multiply all the numbers on the top, and I divide by anything on the bottom. So we're going to go 65.5 times 1,000 times 1.09 times 3 divided by 5,280. And as far as significant figures, my first number, my given number, has 3. So I'm just going to plug this in my calculator and round it to the first 3. So let's just leave, oh boy, 40.6. I can barely reach the top of the board. 40.6 miles. Cool. Dimensional analysis. It's good stuff. It's organized. It's methodical. You can never go wrong with this proportion method. What if I have a lot of seconds? 550,000 seconds. How many days? Ugh. Okay. So we start with what we have. 550,000 seconds. I want to get it to days. Now these might be conversions that we're a little more familiar with. I do not want seconds, so let's cancel seconds. How about seconds to minutes? That seems logical. I want minutes on the top. 1 minute is 60 seconds. Seconds, bye-bye. Cancel. They're going to divide and cancel. Right now I'd be in minutes. I do not want minutes, so we're going to cancel them. We could go minutes to hours. 1 hour is 60 minutes. And again, minutes, top and bottom, you are gone. And then finally I can go hours to days. Let's cancel hours and switch it to days. 1 day, last time I checked, at 24 hours. Hours, you are gone. Dimensional analysis at its finest. All of our numbers are on the bottom, so we're going to divide. So in my calculator, I'm going to plug 550,000 divided by 60, divided by 60, divided by 24. My first number really only has 2 significant figures. There are zeros at the end, but there's no decimal spot. So let's just round this to 2. I plug all this in my calculator. It's full of garbage. But how nice to just leave your answer as 6.4. And if we wanted to get like real picky, we could figure out like how long 0.4 days is, like how many hours is that, all that good stuff. For now, I'll just leave it as 6.4. Not bad, huh? I like this last one, number 6. It's like a rate, 8 kilometers per hour. What's the equivalent in meters per second? We have to fix 2 units. How exciting! We got to get the kilometers into meters, and then we have to get the hours into seconds. And now again, kilometers to meters, that's a metric conversion. So if you wanted to, you could just move the decimal spot. Or you can set this up as a proportion. Maybe this time I'll just do the decimal spot thing. 8.0. I'm at kilo. I want to move it to the base unit meter. So again, it's like 1, 2, 3. I'm going to move that to 8,000. Now here's what's going to be interesting. So I'm going to list this as 8,000. And then I have it in units of meters per hour. Sometimes it's hard when you get real big numbers to show how many numbers you want for significant figures. So I'm just going to make myself a note. At the very end, when I'm ready to round this to sig figs, I'm going to round it to the 2 sig figs that were given in the original problem. Okay, so here obviously is one option. Another option, you could have done this, kind of like what we did in 4. You could have taken the 8.0 kilometers per hour, canceled kilometers, and turned it into meters. A kilometer is 1,000 meters. So you totally could have done this. Or again, just flip the decimal spot. So right now I'm in the right distance unit. So I want meters. But I don't want hours. So we're going to set up a proportion. And now watch what happens. The unit that I want to cancel, I've been saying all along, you put it on the bottom. You usually put it on the bottom. You want it to cancel. But this time the unit that I want to cancel is already in the denominator. So to get it to cancel, I have to put it up in the numerator. So if I do not want hours, now I have to put hours on top so that they cancel. Oh, tricky. Eventually we want to get it to seconds. So maybe we'll go like hours to minutes. And then very similar to the previous. 1 hour, 60 minutes. But now watch what I can do. I have hours on the top, I have hours on the bottom. They're out. If I plug this in my calculator right now, I have units of meters per minute, which is not quite what I want. I want meters per second. So we can do one more. Again, right now I have minutes on the bottom. I want it to cancel, so I'm going to put it on the top. I want seconds. But saying like meters per second is like meters per second. I want seconds in the denominator. There are 60 seconds in 1 minute. And then again, I can cancel these minutes. They're on the top and the bottom. So the only units that I have left, meters per second. So I plug this in my calculator as 8,000 divided by 60 divided by 60. And again, for sig figs, I'm going to go back to that 8.0, which is 2 sig figs. So I'm going to leave this as 2.2 meters per second. Excellent. There are still, I believe, 2 more of these in your study guide? Yep, 2 more. If you feel comfortable, again, give them a try, and you can go right to the end of the last video. But if this is still not sinking in, I might try it. Try number 7 and 8 and get as much as you can. Then fire up this last video and see where you're getting stuck. Hopefully, it's a skill now that's starting to sink in. You will definitely use this dimensional analysis in chemistry.